are live here in the garden here in Texas, South Texas. I'm not going to give out specifics, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. As my voice is a little hoarse because I went on a bender this past weekend, and it was awesome because we got a rivalry that's back in college football that we're going to talk about in depth here in a little bit. But a lot of things happened this week. A lot of upsets happened that weren't even on the docket for last week's show. And I got to tell you, Ryan Day, your days are numbered. No pun intended. Your days are numbered as a head coach for the Ohio State Buckeyes. I'm telling you right now, losing to Michigan 4 straight years in a row, and not only losing to Michigan 4 straight years in a row, but you lose to a vulnerable Michigan team that is barely bowl eligible. So we'll take a deep dive on that one as well. Eagles and Ravens have an epic clash, but Justin Tucker just ain't him anymore, which is sad for me to say as a Longhorn fan, but we'll dive into that game as well. Bills dominate the 49ers in a blowout victory, pretty close to what my prediction had to put. Dive into that one here in a little while. And we're just here to talk about rivalry week. Let's just keep it a buck. It is, and it will always be the best thing to happen in football. But before I get into rivalry week, I'm going to talk about the games that we predicted for NFL Week 13. Now, I got to be honest with you guys. I wasn't really excited about NFL because of obvious reasons. But this was one of those weekends for the NFL that was going to be quiet. For sure. Especially with rivalry week in college football happening. And there's just a lot that's going on this weekend for NFL fans that do watch college football. NFL might have just lost a lot of viewership because of that. But, yeah, so, yeah. Wow, we're getting a lot of people in the chat today. Am I going to see some Aggies? Because I got a lot to say about y'all here in a little while. 28 people are watching this, by the way. So I want to know if there's any Aggies in the chat. Type if you're an Aggie because I'm a go off on y'all motherfucking asses here in a little while. But we're going to talk about NFL real quick. Just to breeze it out of the way. So, K-Dub, what's up, my brother? Fucking, it's a great day to be a Longhorn. I am super pumped up. Don Julio says, the fuck is an Aggie? I love it. Let's fucking hate on them together. Let's go. All right. So, first of all, let's go over NFL. It's been kind of just bland football, if you have to be honest. I picked the Chargers to beat the Falcons. J-Mo picked the Falcons to beat the Chargers, but I like you, Don Julio. Keep it up. The Chargers end up winning 17-13. I predicted 20-13, while J-Mo picked 24-17 Atlanta, which it's fine. I mean, I kind of figured it would go around that way for the Chargers to end up winning that way, but it was a good game. To be fair, I didn't really watch a single game. I just watched a couple highlights for all these games. So Cardinals Vikings. Now this game, me and JMO did pick the same score and the same team to win. We picked the Cardinals to win because Minnesota's been kind of looking average lately, and they've looked kind of just absolute dog shit in the last couple of weeks, but they've been getting lucky. Vikings end up winning 23-22. We had the Cardinals winning 23-20, which is pretty weird. So, next game we're going to talk about is the Eagles and Ravens. This was probably the best matchup out of the gate, out of the predictions that we have, and honestly, bro, this was the best game in the entire NFL. Cooper DeJean made an excellent tackle on fucking Derrick Henry. Absolutely annihilated him and just unbelievable fashion. Justin Tucker, one of my favorite kicker of all time. He's on the downhill trend, unfortunately, but it is what it is. He's just not the same Justin Tucker that I grew up watching, you know. So the Eagles get the job done. Me and JMO had the Ravens winning this game, but I had the Ravens a little bit closer, 31-27, whereas he picked the Ravens to win by 7. But the Eagles won 24-19. Very good win for the Eagles. A statement win, if I have to ask. They look like the best team in football besides the Lions right now. So I really like what the Eagles are doing right now. And it sickens me because I'm a Cowboys fan. Last but not least, the 49ers at the Bills. Okay, I knew this game was going to get ugly. JMO had some optimism for the 49ers, but the Bills whooped the shit out of them in the snow, 35-10. I had 31-10 Bills. He had 35-21 Bills. So, good win for the Buffalo Bills. But that concludes NFL because I don't give a fuck about NFL. Because you know why? It's fucking rivalry week. Rivalry week in college football. That's why I started off with NFL. Usually I start off with college football, then NFL to close the show. But there's a reason why I started off. There's a reason why I started off with NFL and just pushed that motherfucker out of the way. Because rivalry week just passed by. A rivalry was renewed. And we'll talk more in depth about that towards the end of the show, okay? And I can't wait to say what I'm about to say in the next maybe 30 minutes to an hour. So I hope y'all got y'all seatbelts and y'all's popcorn or whatever y'all are doing right now. I hope y'all are strapped up listening to this shit because I'm about to explode on these motherfuckers and cook their ass. But anyways, we're going to talk about the Thursday night game. Memphis at Tulane. Me and JMO thought Tulane was going to win this game, honestly. I'm embarrassed to even say this, but I had Tulane winning by a large margin, 56-24. It didn't go that way. Memphis controlled the pace of the game, dominated the game. They won 34-24, and that booted Tulane out of the college football playoff picture. I'm honestly kind of just not feeling the best about this Tulane team now. Now I'm starting to have questions about them. 1 second, I got a little thirsty. So, yeah, the Tigers of Memphis take control of this game. They win 34-24. Good win for Memphis, although Tulane already clinched a spot for the American Championship against Army. Next game, we're going to talk about Liberty at Sam Houston State. Now, Sam Houston State's had a terrific year. Their head coach just resigned, so they got a spot open now. I honestly thought this was going to be a really good game, but I thought Liberty had the edge because of a veteran quarterback. But, man, I had Liberty 38-28, and J-Mo had Liberty 35-17. He was more on the fence that Liberty was just going to walk away with this win. No, Sam Houston State pulls off the upset at home, and Sam Houston State wins 20-18. I am honestly shocked about this score, and I apologize to the Bearcat Nation out there in Huntsville. Congratulations to Sam Houston State for putting up a hell of a season. 9-3 for the Sam Houston State Bearcats, man. It's incredible, especially with the way they've been playing. Beat a really good, prominent Group of 5 school in Liberty. So, great win for the Bearcats. Then this game happened. Georgia Tech taking on Georgia. Okay, Georgia already has a spot in the SEC Championship. I don't know how, but they do. But I'm glad that they're in the SEC Championship, and I'll explain why later. But they have to get past Georgia Tech. And this game went south early in the game for Georgia, but they found a way to bounce back, force overtime, went to 8 fucking overtimes, and ended up winning the game 44-42. 8 overtimes. I've never seen that from Georgia or Georgia Tech. It is insane. Shout out to Richard Zamudio as well. Hook 'em horns, baby. Can't wait to cook they ass. Yeah, I cannot believe how I cannot believe how long it lasted for Georgia and Georgia Tech in that matchup. It was incredibly long. I actually fell asleep during the 5th overtime, woke up, and I saw 44-42. I was like, holy fuck, finally. And it had to have been around 1 when they finally ended the game. Let me tell you guys, I am excited about Georgia in the SEC Championship because, again, I'll tell you later. Tennessee at Vanderbilt. It was an ugly start for the Vols. I had Tennessee winning 34-14, where J-Mo had the optimism of 31-24 Vanderbilt. It looked like it was swinging its way at first for the Commodores, but then Tennessee woke up, and Nico Imaleva absolutely went off in this game. And the Vols win 36-23. Great win for Tennessee. I cannot wait to see where their rankings are tomorrow during the college football playoff rankings. It's going to be electric. Tune into that tomorrow. It'll be at 6 p.m. our time, Central Time, where the college football playoffs is right around the corner, and it's important to watch these rankings. And I'm glad that we get to watch it live here, but I can't show you the stuff, and I can't allow the audio, so you'll just hear my white ass talk, you know. So here we go. Miami at Syracuse, one of the upsets of the week right here. I actually changed my pick last second during our last show for the prediction show. I had Syracuse winning 31-28. J-Mo actually changed his pick to Syracuse as well, to 35-28. Miami was a 10.5-point favorite in this matchup. But the Canes fall short again in Mario Cristobal fashion. Cam Ward isn't him. They were up 21-0 21-0. And Syracuse and Kyle Honda McCord found a way to bounce back and win this game 42-38. I cannot believe that Miami choked like a whore on leopard. That was a bad loss for Miami. If I'm Miami, I'm praying that Clemson beats SMU in the ACC championship so that way I could get a playoff bid. I mean, that's your only hope. So, now we move on to Farmageddon, where Kansas State and Iowa State face each other. Damn it, I didn't even write the fucking score, but I think I know what it is. Iowa State was the 2.5-point favorite, and to be quite honest, me and JMO were kind of thinking the same thing, that Iowa State was going to win it. I'm pretty sure everybody had Iowa State winning this game because Kansas State is a mid team and Iowa State's just a little bit better. So, yeah, I don't know what to say because Kansas State was the less physical team like we talked about last week. Absolutely pathetic display of football for Kansas State this season as they dropped to 8-4, and Iowa State gets to go to the Big 12 championship against Arizona State. Final score was 24-14, if I'm not mistaken. I had 21-10, and JMO had 42-34, so he had a high scoring affair. I didn't think it was going to be that high, and it wasn't. So, next game we're going to talk about. Oh boy. JMO's Kentucky Wildcats hosting the Louisville Cardinals. And let me tell you, me and JMO were too optimistic about this game. I picked Kentucky because I was optimistic about this game, and the freshman Boley, who played lights out against Texas. Not so much against Louisville because Louisville got tape on them now. So, Louisville was a 3.5-point favorite. They ended up beating the fuck out of Kentucky. 41-14. Absolutely gutter stomped Kentucky to win the Governor's Cup. JMO, sorry, bro, that your season didn't go the way it was supposed to go. If you had to have started that freshman early in the season, I think y'all would have been in a bowl game and y'all would have been way more competitive than this. I think Mark Stoops lost the locker room in that game. It just was an ugly game to watch. It was like 31-0 when I stopped watching it. But, yeah, good win for Louisville. Ugly loss for Kentucky. Next game we're going to talk about, the Palmetto rivalry. The Palmetto rivalry between South Carolina and Clemson. To me, this was the best game out of any college football game. Why? Because you had a lot of excitement in this matchup. These two teams absolutely hate each other just as much as anybody, but nobody's talking about this rivalry as much. And both defenses played well. Both quarterbacks played well. Both offenses looked good. It was exactly what you wanted out of a college football game. The final score was 17-14 South Carolina. Last minute touchdown by Lenora Sellers, who is fucking Houdini. That man has been doing Houdini acts, but the amount of missed sacks that Clemson had on that guy is unbelievable. And missed tackles on Lenora Sellers. he single-handedly won South Carolina that game offensively. Cade Klubnik played his ass off in that game, but just couldn't get the job done. So me and JMO actually picked South Carolina to win. We actually thought it was going to be a much more high-scoring game, but it was a great stalemate between those two teams, and I thought that was the best game overall in my actual opinion. So next game we're going to talk about is Arkansas at Missouri. I forgot what the name of this made-up rivalry was, but me and JMO were kind of thinking the same thing, that Missouri hasn't played as well as people think, and they're not as good as what people think, and Arkansas is way more physical, and this is that. Well, I tell you what, I take back what I say about Missouri, because Missouri isn't misery to watch. They actually played really good football in that game. Arkansas had a lot of missed opportunities in that game. Missouri had a lot of missed opportunities in that game as well, but they ended up winning that game 28-21. I had Arkansas winning 42-28. And JMO, with the optimism, yeah, they are. JMO had the Hogs winning 35-0. I thought it was a little crazy to say. I thought they were going to be a little bit more physical than Missouri, but turns out I was wrong about that matchup. But before I talk about the game I want to talk about, let's talk about Oklahoma and LSU. I don't have the final score because I'm a jackass and I forgot the final score. I just got way too excited to get on here and actually talk about what we are going to talk about later. Oklahoma and LSU. I had Oklahoma winning this game because I thought they were going to be riding high off of Alabama. Off the Alabama win. I honestly am kicking myself in the ass. Oklahoma got their asses whipped against LSU. JMO had LSU winning this game. I just don't know what the final score was, unfortunately, because I forgot to look at that score. And yeah, I cannot believe how atrocious OU was this year. Looked great against Alabama, but got their asses kicked by the team that got their asses kicked by Alabama. And realistically, the SEC's been kind of weird all season if you really want to think about it. And speaking of weird, the Iron Bowl, Auburn versus Alabama. Now, this Alabama team hasn't been the best performing team in Alabama history. It's probably one of the worst to come out of the modern day Alabama. Got Lucky Lamar in the chat. What's up, my boy? Yeah. But Auburn couldn't get the job done, unfortunately. I had Alabama winning 28-20. JMO had them winning 28-17. JMO was closer than I was. 28-14. Yes, Mr. White Man, I am that. I'm also Matthew McConaughey's son, too, so. No, I'm just going to say this right now for Auburn. I don't think y'all should fire Hugh Freeze yet. I think there's bright spots for Auburn, but you got to trust in the process because, believe me, been there, done that. But, yeah, just get y'all a 5-star quarterback or a 4-star quarterback and to help develop him through the process of playing in the SEC. Y'all have a good team. Y'all just need a consistent quarterback. Tank for Tua. Oh, God. But honestly, that Alabama game, it could go either way in the Iron Bowl, but man, Alabama didn't look that good, honestly. If they were trying to make a case to be in the playoff, they didn't really perform like a playoff team. But they're going to find a way to put Alabama into the playoffs. I honestly don't think that Alabama is a very good playoff caliber team. It's not that they suck. It's just compared to the rest of the country, as far as like college football playoff readiness, I don't think they're there with Kalen DeBoer. Give them another year. We'll see how it goes. But a game that I didn't put on the list on here because I thought this game was going to be a fucking blowout. Where's my Ohio State fans at? Where is my Michigan fans at? Is it time to say that Ryan Day isn't the guy for Ohio State? Because I've been on this record since Urban Meyer left. Ryan Day had the luxury of getting Urban Meyer's hand-me-downs, just like Jimbo Fisher got Bobby Bowden's hand-me-downs and won the national championship at Florida State. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about the hand-me-downs for Urban Meyer's recruits, and couldn't even win a playoff game with them. Couldn't get to the big one, the national championship. He's 1-4. 1-4 against Michigan, whereas Urban Meyer kicked the living shit out of Michigan from the time he was there. I think, I've been saying this since 2022, or 2021 to be exact, that Ryan Day is a fucking fraud and doesn't know what he's doing. He does not know how to coach football. He is a fucking emotional fucking baby that gets butthurt when people start talking about how weak Ohio State looks. And it's true. You got two great running backs back there, and you're not even utilizing them well. You got some of the best receivers in the country, and you have a mediocre quarterback. And on the defensive side, your front seven is getting fucking pounded harder than a stripper at a goddamn fucking brothel. I mean, what are we doing here, Ohio State? That was y'all's game to win, and you blew it, Ryan Day. Which is why I think that Ryan Day is going to get fired. Because for one, he didn't get to the Big Ten Championship. For two, he lost to Michigan. He's 1-4 against them. For three, he's not going to get to the national championship. It's crazy to me that people were saying that this was the best roster in college football when you got a mediocre quarterback playing in Will Howard. Kansas State fans have told me how bad Will Howard is, and it's true. It's true, just like what Kurt Angle says. Oh, it's true. And the fact that people think Ohio State is a college football playoff contender now? Not after that performance. They just got exposed. They just got exploited by a mediocre Michigan team that got fucking drummed by yours truly. Not me, the University of Texas. A Michigan team that couldn't beat Indiana, that Ohio State mollywopped. And we're going to sit here and say that the SEC is overrated? No, that's not how it works, fam. Maybe the Big Ten has been overrated since the dawn of time. And that Ohio State couldn't even last in the SEC. They couldn't bust a grape in a food fight in the SEC. I mean, it's honestly sad to watch. Because when Urban Meyer was coaching, Ohio State was feared. When Jim Tressel was coaching at Ohio State, they were fucking feared. I'm telling you right now, if they don't win the national championship, or at least get to the semifinals, Ryan Day is out. He's got to be. And then who's going to replace him? Chip Kelly. Why do you think he's there at the offensive coordinator spot? I said it from the day he was hired that he resigned from UCLA and got hired on to go be the offensive coordinator for Ohio State. That he is there to plug and replace Ryan Day. It's that simple. It's that simple. Now, for our main event. Where are them Aggies at? I want Aggies to start rolling in here. I need those fucking viewerships to go up because I'm ready to cook y'all's ass. Where's your yell leaders? Did you do your yell practice before I jumped on your? Did you do this? Let me tell you something. 13 years ago, A&M lost to Texas 27-25 before they left for the SEC. And did not want none of us. They didn't want to play us. They say that they want to be the only Texas team to recruit out of the SEC. Okay. Move into 2021 where Texas and OU sneak into the SEC. There was one team that was super verbal about Texas not getting in. Who's that team? Texas A&M. Texas A&M is that one school that voted against Texas and Oklahoma to join the SEC. More specifically towards Texas. And why is that? Because we're going to hurt y'all's recruiting? I've been telling y'all this. Is it because we're better than y'all? Been telling y'all this. A&M fans, for the past 13 years, have used hypotheticals. Hypotheticals that said, oh, we'd beat y'all's ass with this team and this team with this player. Oh, Johnny Manziel would run all over Texas. Oh, Mike Evans would moss all these defensive backs. Von Miller would destroy the offensive line. Fucking Myles Garrett would blow y'all's asses up. Leon O'Neal would make y'all pay. So we get to this game this past weekend. The time for talk is nigh. Y'all been talking on Twitter to my face about how Texas ain't shit, how Texas can't compete in the SEC. And once we reached into the SEC, what happened? Once we played in the SEC schedule, we lose one game to a prominent Georgia program, by the way, who is kind of on the decline, but they're actually in the SEC championship, like I predicted early on in the season, or early before the season. Y'all said welcome to the SEC after we lost to Georgia 30-15. And then proceeded to get embarrassed by South Carolina and continue to lose up until this point. Y'all lose to an Auburn team because y'all were too focused on us. Y'all played in that Auburn game wearing stormtrooper outfits, which, by the way, is a Texas thing, trying to be like us. But y'all claim to not be like us. And then we show up to College Station. The mighty Kyle Field, the mighty 12th man, right? Supposed to be scared of this boogeyman, this legend of Kyle Field. 105,000 in attendance. The ticket price is over $1,000. And the reason why is because y'all didn't want us there to cheer for our team. And guess what? We were there. And y'all's only defense to Texas fans is, well, did you go to school there? You know why people don't go to school at the University of Texas? It's because, for one, it's fucking pricey as shit. For two, the acceptance rate is harder to get in than some fucking agricultural school by the name of Texas A&M. Y'all have a 64% acceptance rate, whereas Texas is just below 30. But yet, y'all say y'all have more oil money, but somehow your baseball coach got a job at Texas. Explain that to me. And then all of your players from the baseball team transferred with the coach at Texas. And then y'all have y'all's little what the fuck is that? I'm telling you this right now, Texas A&M fan base, Aggie fan base. You are the biggest laughingstock in college football. You are the biggest joke in college sports. And your only defenses are, did you go to school at UT? No, you're just a t-shirt fan. Or, they're fucking liberal. Let's be real. I saw more liberals in College Station than in Austin. They won't like that because it's true. The truth hurts. I live in reality where you live in fantasy. I live in reality that Texas is better than Texas A&M in many ways. You live in a fantasy of hypotheticals that this team could beat that team with that player beating those players. Whereas I live in reality where Texas goes into College Station unfazed and goes in there and treats it like a business day. I predicted this game to go 34-21. I was obviously wrong about the score. JMO went 42-21, but I was telling them, we're not going to score that much. We go in there. The score is 17-7. That's fine. But they didn't score an offensive touchdown. It was a straight bully. We straight up bullied y'all's asses. To where Mike Elko lost his brain cells. Okay, first of all, Mike Elko, you are a fucking doofus, my friend. Mike Elko is a doofus. Why would you go for it on 4th and goal with fucking 4 minutes left and think that you were going to hit the same goddamn play on our defense? Do you not watch film, Mr. Elko? Looking like Shrek from the Chris Farley days. God rest his soul. And then you call all 3 of your timeouts before the 2-minute timeout. A minute before the 2-minute timeout. And you haven't been paying attention to the Longhorns from what I could tell. Because you have a running quarterback back there who couldn't throw against this defense, that couldn't run against this defense. It was sad to watch, honestly. Y'all's offense couldn't do shit against our defense. And you really thought you had a chance. The only way y'all were going to win is if our offense was going to fuck up. Because I knew right away that our defense was going to shut y'all's offense down. And when everybody was flag planting everywhere else, instead of our coach saying, yeah, go ahead and flag plant Kyle Field, we waited 13 years for this. No, he had way more class and gave you the proper respect. But then you have a fan out there who had the audacity to make a really horrendous sign about Jake Ellinger. I don't know what's wrong with that person. I don't know if he's on medication. But I swear to God, if I ever find that guy, let's just say it won't be pretty. Because that's bitch made shit right there. You don't make a sign like that ever. Even in a rivalry game. I would get on to my Longhorns fan base if they ever did shit like that. And you also don't, and another thing is, you don't make fun of a guy who fought through perseverance in his life like Steve Sarkisian. Sorry about that. I got a fucking phone call. I just hate when people do this. But that's your fan base. I know not all of you do that shit. But that's how disgusting your fan base can get. But it's good to have that rivalry back. It's a good stress to have. Thank you for giving the fuel to our fan base, to our players, and to our coaching staff. In the pregame, our coaching staff was talking shit to the other coaching staff and said, we're ready to whoop y'all's ass. By God, we did. Quintravian Wiesner had a career day. He ran over 180 yards, almost getting to 200. 30 carries. Quinn Ewers was dotting with a bad ankle. But people wanted to say Marcel Reed was playing good. Quinn Ewers was dotting, motherfuckers. You may look at the stats and go, yeah, Marcel Reed was more accurate. Well, no. Quinn was throwing the better balls in that game. And it's true. Just watch the fucking film, you goddamn casuals. Because most of you Aggies, alum Aggies also, are fucking casuals. This is the last time I'm going to get to talk shit about y'all until next season. Because of the simple fact that I waited 13 goddamn years for this matchup. Because all y'all would do is talk shit about how bad Texas is. How terrible Texas is. We would dominate the Big 12. We would dominate Texas. We would dominate everybody that resembled a Longhorn. Oh, man, we would destroy Texas. No. Y'all just proved to me that evolution passed by y'all. Like I said, this game will tell me if A&M had the tools to beat Texas, or did evolution pass them by? And by God, I was right. Evolution passed y'all by because y'all are nowhere near our fucking level. And it showed. Score may indicate different, but if you look at the actual stats, if you look at the actual game, just watch the game. Fuck the stats. Watch the fucking game. A&M was not ready. They didn't want to play the Horns. They were too chicken shit to play. Elko couldn't do shit. He obviously couldn't fucking think straight. But you Aggies are so optimistic about y'all's team. But y'all are real quiet now. What happened to we couldn't play in the SEC? What happened to that A&M is on a whole different level compared to Texas? What happened to Texas has a weak SEC schedule? So does that make y'all weak? I rest my case with this. See y'all next year, A&M. I've waited so long to say, I told you so. As for my Longhorns, stay focused. And I'm talking to the fans, I'm talking to the players, I'm talking to the coaches. Stay focused. We got one more game before the playoffs. The SEC Championship. Now is the time to prove that we could play against anybody. And Georgia is our one vulnerability so far. But we can overcome that real easily. This team has proven it time and time again over the last 3 seasons, that we can overcome any adversity. It's time to make a statement this Saturday against Georgia, who is a worthy opponent. But that's all I have for today, folks. Tune in tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time, as I'm going to be watching the college football playoff rankings, and I will be going over that, how I feel about it. Does Ohio State drop out of the top 10? Does Clemson drop out of the top 15? Is Clemson out of the playoff picture? Miami out of the playoff picture is the real question that everybody should be asking. Is South Carolina in the picture? Is Alabama, Ole Miss? Nobody's talking about Ole Miss. Tune into that tomorrow. And then later on tomorrow night, me and J-Mo will be back on for our conference championship predictions and NFL predictions. Which I'm going to tell J-Mo we're going to start off with the NFL predictions because we can breeze by that real quick. Make it real simple and real quick. And then we'll go over each conference championship game in Division I football, starting from the American to finishing to the Sun Belt Conference. Because that's what we do, folks. We talk about everybody. But thank you for joining this special edition of the Recap Show. I'm your host, TJ Riddell. This is the Pigskin Mafia Podcast. Goodbye. Mwah. Good night. Bang. And hook 'em horns, baby. And it's goodbye to A&M. Toodaloo.